Do you think that us as economists have spent too much time talking about the benefits of trade and not enough time focusing on the flip side of the coin, which is how do we put in place policies that protect the losers? And in doing so, maybe we haven't been culpable, but maybe there is a teachable moment for us as a profession around helping steer policy in a positive direction.
I think something we've really learned as economists from the China shock and from recent decades is that in the past, when we thought about the idea that trade creates winners and losers, we thought at the economy-wide level. So the losers might be, for example, a particular manufacturing industry, say textiles, which has been damaged by import competition. But the big thing we've learned recently is that those industries tend to be regionally concentrated. And so in the past, we never realized as much as we should have that the distribution that occurs through trade is often across regions. And so many regions in the United States, for example, furniture industry in West Virginia, were very heavily hit by the China shock, by international trade shocks. They're also very heavily hit by technology shocks because those industries are concentrated regionally. And so that's where I think we really need to focus the policy debate, is recognizing that regions are unevenly affected and what's the right policy to help those regions. And I think that's a really exciting research agenda. I'm really excited about being part of that dialogue.
And that regional concentration in the harms matters. If 1% of people across America have their jobs disrupted over a decade, then they'll find jobs in the booming industries in their towns. But if 10% of regions have 10% of people have their jobs disrupted, so the same aggregate number of people, but it's highly concentrated, it's really hard for those areas to recover. And that's something we're learning, and thinking about policies that address that problem seems like it should be high on our list of priorities as a profession.
That's a really great point. I'm really glad you made that, Neale. I think one of the things we lose sight of is that the US economy is incredibly dynamic, that each day thousands of jobs are created, thousands of jobs are destroyed. The number of jobs destroyed through trade or technology, secular changes in technology, is actually pretty small relative to that constant churning of jobs. But the thing that's different about it, as you highlighted, is that the jobs destroyed by trade can be really concentrated in a region, and it's very hard for that region to adapt. There's a lot of evidence that people don't move geographically, and so you can see entire communities lose their main source of income and begin to unravel, and that can have political ramifications. It obviously has very negative effects on society as a whole, not just economic, but culturally in terms of marriage rates of displaced male workers, in terms of health outcomes and so on. And so I think that's an area where as economists we really need to engage with that debate, recognize that trade and technology shocks have these uneven effects geographically, and think about what is the right way for policy to respond to that.